Hello and welcome to the Voice of Intuition podcast. My name is Susan Jane and I believe that trusting your intuition is the best way to live your life with meaning and purpose. Each week you will hear about how you can connect, develop and trust your intuition through the wonderful array of guests we have on the show and my own personal experiences. Join me to understand how your intuition can guide you towards a life full of meaning and loving purpose. Hello and welcome to the Voice of Intuition podcast. My name is Susan Jane and I'm your host for the podcast. Now today, last fortnight, we talked about the powers, that the download that I had about the powers that are coming to us, or not necessarily coming to us, that we actually already have but aren't aware of. So this week or this fortnight, I would like to talk about the first one, which was Scissor Energy. Now, when I received this download, it was when you're receiving information like this particular way it came through, it comes through as an image. So you get this sort of a glancing image, and then you get this feeling that matches with it. Now, when I got the image of like scissors, then I got the feeling, and the feeling I first got was about leverage. So there was two areas that I was looking at with scissors. One was definitely cutting and the other area was leverage. But the strange thing was leverage came up first rather than cutting. So when I first got this feeling, or I saw the scissors, and the impression that I got, it was about leveraging. And I thought, well, it doesn't quite make sense. But when you squeeze one pair of scissors, like you squeeze the handle together, it actually causes the blades to come together. So when you open them, it actually opens them. So I didn't look at that as leverage, and yet leverage was the word that came through. Now, if you find a different word that suits you, then use that. But for me, it was all about leverage. So this week, I'm going to talk about the scissor power, what it is, about leverage and about cutting, that aspect there. And then there's three elements in the cutting that we can look at, which is going to help us go from the 3D to the 5D. And this is what's really important at the moment, because this is what all this Pluto, all the changes happening in Aquarius and all the rest. So let's get stuck into it. I've got my notes here. So the first thing I want to say is that, like I said, when it came through, the first part of it came through as leverage, which sort of surprised me a little bit, because I naturally thought scissors are about cutting, not about leveraging. But the significance for the leveraging is that simple action. And then what came through was the leverage of the scissor lift. Now, I don't know whether you know, you might have to look up what a scissor lift is. They use it in buildings and to allow you to go on a flat platform and lift it up. And it's all crisscrossed, and then it lifts up as a scissor action and lifts the whole platform up. And I think that's what the first part was all about. It's about how we can leverage ourselves. Now, what I like about a scissor platform is that it actually raises us up, yes, but it raises us up on a very secure base, and it keeps us level and balanced. Okay, that's really important for me, having that understanding that it is level and balanced. So as you're going up evenly. You can also move across. You can change lanes, change paths, but you're still moving up evenly. It's not like a crane where you could be swinging, on the edge. It's not like that sort of thing. It's not like a ladder it's a bit slower to move up, and you've got to manually take those steps. This is a smoother action, and this leverage in the scissor lift platform allows you to move up and transform as you go along. Also, and I'm not 100% sure because I didn't look at these, but I know a lot of those that type of machinery, they can have their own controls. So having their own controls allows them to have the control over whether they're going up, whether they need to go back down and have a look a little bit more, and have that movement happening. So they have full control over it. So that's what I really liked about that aspect of the scissor lift, and that leverage, and the understanding that we have full control as we move forward. So I believe that's why the leverage came through first. and why that was so important, because this is about us transforming. The next section is about the cutting area. Now, cutting has 3 elements. It's about taking control, it's about trusting the process, and about enjoying life. Now, I know that sounds a little bit strange, a little bit crazy, and maybe not matching up, but when we're looking at it, we're looking at the different areas there. So take control is about cutting, that very cutting aspect of stopping things happening anymore, controlling it, controlling your life, controlling the area. I'm going to walk through these one step at a time because it will give you an understanding of it a little bit more. So the first part about the scissor power, about the cutting, is about taking control. So taking control of your life. The scissors symbolizing that cutting through the confusion and reclaiming your power. It's about stopping, cutting through the process, stopping things happening. So the first part is stop. Cut the energy ties you no longer want. This is the first part that came to me, is about when we're attached to people, we're attached through these energy ties, like these energy paths, almost like a water hose, and you have the energy running through these hoses. One of the things we need to do to be able to take control of our life is to cut some of the ties that are not relevant to us. Now, some of these ties can be linked with past relationships. Some of these ties can be linked with past experiences that we've had, and we're holding on to them, and we're still either getting energy from them, or majority of times that energy is depleting us. So when you're thinking about something negative, you're actually putting energy into it and it's not coming back to you. So you're actually giving away your energy. When you're thinking of a past relationship, you're often giving, as you're thinking about them, you're actually sending energy to that past relationship. So we need to cut some of those ties, sever some of those ties that are joined to us. Now, we can do that in a spiritual manner. And one of the ways is I go through a guided meditation, and you basically determine how that energy is connected to you. So some people might see it like a big, like I said, like a big pipe that's got the energy running through it. I often see it like for want of another word, like a tentacle from, say, an octopus tentacle, more skin-like, more real-like it's an extra arm or leg that's attached to that person or to that element, that other aspect. I'll often see it in that way, but it's about how you see it, because how you see it will determine how you can stop it, how you cut it, because it's not necessarily with a pair of scissors. Okay, sometimes you might need to get the chainsaw out. Sometimes you might need to get the industrial saw out. We've got ways that we can cut it, but we need to stop those ties, those energy ties that are draining that energy from us and no longer uplift us and recharge us. All right. So I've had it with people when I've been in a smaller group, and I have walked away, like we might have had a meeting or something, a work meeting, and I've walked away and I've got burst into tears. I feel really exhausted, really drained, really, and not really upset about anything, but feel really exhausted. That is because you've got somebody in that group that's actually taking your energy. You're not giving it freely, which you can do. And when you do give it freely, you make sure you're filling up at the same time. But when somebody's taking that, they often call them energy vampires. When somebody's taking that energy from you, you'll know, because as you walk away, you will feel exhausted, depleted. You will feel really run down. Be aware of that. Now, it's not that they're doing that deliberately. They get energy by meeting other people, by being around other people, but it's about making sure you have control over it. So the next part is about restricting. So you can stop and cut the ties, or you can restrict it by gaining control about that with those negative influences. So restricting it is making sure that you are aware of what's going on and turn the tap down a little bit. One of the aspects there is social media. Social media can really drain your energy. You don't realize it. You might be getting little snippets that uplift you, and then there's other areas that really drain you. And you'll feel that when I walk away from social media. Sometimes I get real. Sometimes I can get down. It's like, oh, those people are doing so well, and I'm not. Like we start to judge and compare ourselves. That's when you have to start looking at, hey, we need to restrict that. I need to gain control of that. Restrict the times, restrict the energy flow between the two. So this is all about this. We're still cutting, restricting, we're stopping, and then the other aspect is to protect yourself. So when we start to take control, we shield ourselves from the negative energy. So to start with, we've cut the ties if there's negative energy coming there, or we've restricted some of them, we've turned the tap down. The last part, if you really need to, is you protect yourself. And that's where you can start to use like the bubble, the white light. There's all these strategies that you can use to help you with that. I'm going to pop some up on the website, intuitivenature.com.au, to give you an understanding of how you can actually help protect yourself on that. But I'll take it deeper with these areas in there, and we're going to go through, and actually I might even do that next week or next fortnight, help you get an understanding of how to protect yourself and cover those areas off a little bit stronger if I haven't had another download by then. The next part we want to look at is part number 2, is about trusting the process. So the 3 areas for the scissors I looked at was about cutting. So obviously we cut, that's what taking control is. It's about cutting out that negativity in our life and being able to go forward. The next part is about, so we cut. Oh my goodness, I've nearly forgotten. Oh, we open ourselves up. So about trusting the process. So we open ourselves up. When I got the download, straight away cutting came in. So we all know what cutting is, right? That's fine. I knew that there was 2 areas. I looked at cutting and I looked at, sorry, I'm just trying to work out. I changed it all around and now I'm not really sure what I did. The first part was cutting out. We had to take out everything that was not good for us. The next part was about opening ourselves up to new horizons. Oh, that's right. I opened up the cereal packet. And I went, well, that's what cutting does. We open ourselves up to new experiences. We open things up. So opening up this packet was really important. Yes, I was still cutting, but the act of cutting was allowing me to open up the areas. And that's right. The last part about cutting too was about creating something else. So we can cut things out of our life. We can cut things to open our life, and we can cut things to create something different, as in craft. So the craft and the cutting came up really quickly, but I knew there was a third one. I couldn't work out what it was. And that was the next day. I opened the cereal packet and went, oh, cutting's about opening ourselves up to new experiences too. So number 2 is about opening ourselves up. It's about trusting the process. So it's about opening different things. And the ways we can do that is we allow, we open, and we experience. So we allow by allowing other areas to come. Although we've severed off a lot of the negativity, we're allowing open other areas to come forward for us. We're welcoming other things into our lives by opening things up that way. We want to stay open to new adventures. Things like going to women's retreats or going to a retreat, ways that we can refresh our energy, ways that we can look at, we've allowed the energy to come through, but how can we keep it coming through? How can we keep it flowing? Because we want to experience that. And then the third part is experiencing it. So when we say experiencing it, it's fully immersing yourself in it. So one of the things that I love to do is I enjoy painting, right? I'm not a good artist, I can assure you, but I like painting because what I do is I really immerse myself right in it. And anything like that, you're doing craft work, you're doing anything like that, you're fully immersing yourself in it. So you're allowing the aspect of trying something new. You're being open to, okay, so I've tried that, probably didn't work, but you're being open to other areas or taking them up another step. And then when you are experiencing it, if you're experiencing it where you just lose track of time, then you know you're really on track. That's what's really, really important. By the way, this is all on my blog too, and it's structured a little bit easier for you to follow without me adding extra bits and pieces. But you can have a look at that on intuitivenature.com.au. So when we start to trust the process, so first of all, then we've actually taken control. So we've severed off some of the stuff that's no good. We've restricted other things, and we've protected ourselves. So that's how we've taken control of our lives. Now we want to open ourselves up. We've closed ourselves down, but now we actually want to open ourselves up to the positives and trust the process. So we've allowed that to come through. We're allowing new things to happen. We stay open to experience new things. Remember, when you want to connect with your intuition, the three things: we ask, we allow, and then we action it. So we ask for help, whatever it is, because as soon as you ask for help, you become open to receiving that information. So you ask, you receive, and you action it. All right. So allowing that area to come through, but staying open. So there's other things that can come through too. Don't just say, oh, I'm decided I'm going to go and do kite surfing. And it may not work out for you. Kite surfing may not be what you need to do, but stay open to something else, because there could be something else in there, or you meet someone there, or there's another area of it. Allowing is taking that first step. Staying open is allowing the more steps to come through. But the most important part of all that is the experiencing, making sure that you experience it. I don't know how many times we will sit down and we'll have a nice meal, but if you're not tasting that meal properly, if you're not enjoying the environment around it, if you're not experiencing it to its fullest, you're not getting what you need out of it. You're not enjoying it as much as you could be enjoying it. So experience it to its fullest. Then the last part of Scissor Power is about actually creating something else, creating a future, embracing that creativity and making those connections and enjoying life. So it is about enjoying life. We can do that by creating, by building, by growing. Now, the creating allows you to go something old to something new, if you like. And in the fact of scissors, you will cut up paper to create paper art. You will cut up wood to create a piece of furniture. You will cut up metal to create a sculpture. So it's all about creating and finding that niche that you like, because this is about you taking it forward then. So creating allows you to open new things up. It allows you to grow and develop and move forward. The next thing is about building. So we're cutting things up. We're creating the ideas of what we want to do, and then we're going to cut them up and we're going to rebuild them. So it's even about your spiritual aspects. So what I want in my life, I'll start to think about my goals. What do I want? I want a happy relationship. So that's my creating. In my mind, I'm creating this happy relationship. Then in the building aspect is about actually starting to put those steps into place, because I can't have a loving relationship with somebody if I'm not loving myself. I can't show love in a true context unless I can actually show it to myself. So we're starting to build, and we're breaking down some of the older patterns, and we're starting to build new patterns and new understandings. And again, we go back to the cutting aspect. We cut up the piece of paper to create something new. And now we're actually building that up and creating that new things. The next part, the third part, of course, is about growth. And growth is about continuing. Right? We never, ever learn everything all at once. There's always layers and levels and layers and levels, and we keep growing and going. So that's really, really important in that aspect. So when we're looking at Scissor Power, the first thing you want to do is take control by cutting and getting rid of, so stopping, cutting, restricting, and protecting. So this is the area we want to take control. The second part is trusting the process, which is all about how we can open ourselves up to new experiences and allowing that process to come through. So cutting open and allowing those things to happen. It's quite amazing when you start to do that, when you start to go, you know what, I trust the process of life to take care of me. It makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference. It allows you to block that negativity and open things up and experience it all to a real true depth that you deserve. Really, we really deserve. It's all about our energy too. And of course, the last part is enjoying life. So it's about when we cut things up and we create something new. So it's all about the craft of us, the craft of creating that life that we want to enjoy. So there's those three elements of scissor power. Again, it's on the website. If you wanted to have a quick look at it there, you'd be able to get a bit more of an understanding of it, the step-by-step process of it, and how you can grow and develop through that way. But that is me for today. I'm hoping I get another download. If I don't get another download for the next power, that's fine too. It'll come when it's ready. If it doesn't, I might even go a little bit deeper into this, because I'd love to give you some experiences or some understandings, especially with the protection, the energy cutting, that sort of side, the restriction, that take control. I'd love to be able to go a little bit deeper into that for you, because I feel we give our power away too quickly and too easily, and we aren't aware of that, especially us as empaths. We just hand it over willy-nilly. And we don't mean to, but that's what we do. So I'd love you to be able to get a better understanding of that. So in a fortnight's time, if I haven't had a new fresh download, I might take on the that aspect of that area, so we can really start to move forward properly in our lives. But that's me. I'm Susan Jane. I hope you've enjoyed that one. Stay in contact with me. I've got online courses there to help you develop your intuition, on intuitivenature.com.au. Got the blog on there. Got the podcast on there. It's all on there. And I'm doing intuitive readings too. So if you want a reading, you can do it that way as well. That's me for today. All right. Have a great week. Have a great fortnight. And we're heading into Christmas, the Christmas period. So have a great Christmas too. All right. All the best, and bye for now.